Hello and welcome to Clearance Rate, a full wrap-up of the nation's residential property sales over the last week. And we're officially midway through the year, and based on the auctions over the first 6 months, volumes are up around 38% on 2013. It seems more people are choosing auctions, suggesting a well-performing market, which does continue to deliver results for sellers and buyers alike. And to put it all into context, New South Wales real estate editor Tim McIntyre joins me now. And Tim, the Sydney clearance rate still strides ahead of the rest.
Yeah, it is, Maura. 73% for Sydney. Again, it's just maintained its strength this year. And as you said, with the auction numbers up on last year, more people are realising now that the market probably doesn't have much further to grow. So it's now time to get in and sell while they can now, as we come up to...
Melbourne just coming back a little bit, because it was slipping off a bit over the last few weeks, but it's back up there, 69.3%.
Yeah, Melbourne's performing quite well still, only just behind Sydney, and the two of those really, the two major auction markets, well ahead of the rest of the country.
Tim, what are we seeing by way of private house sales over the last 7 days? How are the numbers faring?
Well, look, once again, Sydney well ahead in the private treaty market. Plenty more sales and a median price of $720,000 for houses. Still miles ahead of the rest of the country, basically. Melbourne now poking its head above $500,000 for a few weeks in a row, so it's looking like it's on the way up again too.
And what about on the apartment front? We know that Sydney apartment price is just ridiculously unattainable for lots and lots of young couples.
Yeah, Sydney prices are, still heading up and approaching that 600,000 mark. Just down a little bit from last week, but still very strong up the top there. Melbourne just over 430. Adelaide still offering the best value at 312,500.
And how has the last 7 days of buying influenced those overall house prices across the capital city? Something I really like to keep my eye on and looking at that percentage change.
Well, we've had big positive movements for Melbourne particularly and Sydney this week. Melbourne, a stunning 2.1% on a weekly increase in median values, which is really good. It had been a negative few months for Melbourne, and now it's starting to come back, and that week was a massive one. Sydney also 0.7%. Has now gone up again 3 weeks in a row after a couple of negative weeks. The rest of the market's pretty flat. Perth still coming down. Brisbane just hanging around, and Adelaide probably coming off a couple of good weeks as well.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it is time to show us what you have in terms of your best buys of the week. Some exciting picks today.
Yeah, well, this week we've got a few Photoshop fails. As you can see here, every now and again real estate agents go a little bit too far with a Photoshop.
Is that a travel brochure or a house for sale?
It looks like a cartoon to me, but it is a backyard with a pool, and you can see it's just some of the touching of the water and the way it laps up against the edges of the pool. It just doesn't look real at all.
Yeah, no, it certainly looks like a tropical paradise. I wonder whether it's a garden shack behind that lovely looking pool or not.
Yeah.
And what about this one?
Everything looks great here until you realise by the deck and by the drops in the pool that it's actually bucketing down with rain, as opposed to the blue skies up ahead.
We do know that agents do touch things up slightly, but when it's quite obvious like that, and this house looks like it's on fire, Tim.
Yeah, I know the market's been hot this winter, but you wouldn't want it to get that hot, especially in a bushy area like this house appears to be.
Did you spend all weekend on that joke? Or?
Look, I stayed up quite late last night writing that one, Maura.
All right, well, some interesting properties indeed, and certainly some good numbers to ponder over. That is all we have time for. See you next week.